which consists of 3 parts: refuge field, what to visualize and how to visualize. Bodhisattva, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Arya Nagarjuna, Arya Nagarjuna, Arya Nagarjuna, Arya Buddhisttva, Arya Tara, Arya Nagarjuna, Arya Dev, Buddha Parita, Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Shantideva, Shri-Jnana, and all their touching things. And how you visualize them. They are like a very fashion parents, and you come home demoralized, and they are waiting there to give you full love, affection, attention, and so forth. And what is it I feel? Again, what to visualize and how to visualize. Visualize the 2 parents on the 2 sides, and all the family members, including children, and all the innocent beings in Bangalore, Delhi, in Bangalore, in India, and the entire universe. And how you visualize them. Here, you are the mother. And all of us are like very affectionate children. They don't demoralize. And you are there to give full of affection, attention, and embrace. And the purpose of this practice is finally to be kind to yourself and to be wisely kind to yourself, which means what you seek, happiness, give that to you. What you shun, miseries, discard it from you. And how to do that? It is by discovering the ultimate treasure of happiness in yourself. Finally, the final state of fearlessness in yourself, the final state of ultimate happiness, incredible, infinite joy is also within yourself. So these 2 treasures, they are obscured by the metal developments, like a diamond, like a gold, when next to the soil, you don't see the gold. How to discover this treasure? It is by eradicating the soil from the gold, and then slowly the gold starting to glow. Likewise, it is by removing the metal dirt from this treasure. How to remove the dirt? Is by first of all identify what the dirts are, and then apply the respective remedies. And the dirt, because we know that it is of 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross, once known as the afflictive obscurations, and the presence of which stops you from achieving freedom from miseries. And this gross one consists of contaminant elements, afflictions, and active seeds. And all these 3 are rooted to the self-grasping ignorance. So knowing that this is the nature of the gross afflictive obscurations, the remedy to be applied is the wisdom of emptiness, and the motivation, driving force required is the renunciation. With that, it guarantees that this wisdom will take you to the state of freedom from suffering, of samsara. Whereas on the contrary, on the other hand, we have the cognitive obscurations, the subtle states like the smell of the garlic. So this, knowing that this also, the subtle stains of this self-grasping ignorance and its offshoots, the remedy remains the same, the wisdom of emptiness, but the driving force should be more powerful than renunciation. On top of the renunciation, it should be bodhicitta, wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. So that bodhicitta, grounded on renunciation, should be the driving force for this wisdom of emptiness to cleanse even the subtlest of the mental stains, referred to as the cognitive obscurations. So that will take you to achieve the total cleansing of your mind and the total discovery, final discovery of the treasure within yourself, the Buddha, also known as Buddha nature, which is of the nature of 2 kinds, total fearlessness and the true infinite joy. Okay, that is the purpose. So with this in mind, you are leading this, and all the sentient beings are happy to join you, and all Bodhisattvas are watching us. With that in mind, let's turn to page 3 of the place of the non-group of Tibetas. And used by great compassion, we taught the Immaculate Dharma, which is for all perverted views, to you, the Buddha Dharma, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, we taught the Immaculate Dharma, which is for all perverted views, to you, the Buddha Dharma, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, we taught the Immaculate Dharma, which is for all perverted views, to you, the Buddha Dharma, I pay homage. Okay, when you recite this stanza, in fact, this stanza on His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in many cases, on many occasions, the Holiness said that the moment he wakes up, this stanza comes to his mind. This ultimate comes to his mind. This is what he utters automatically. In Tibetan, this meaning. So now that we are introduced to MJ a little bit, so we should understand it in a more refined way. And used by great compassion means the Buddha motivated by great compassion. You taught Immaculate Dharma. Immaculate Dharma is the Dharma of the wisdom of emptiness. To dispel all perverted views. So what traps us in samsara is all because of the mistaken views, our superpositions of objective existence on things. So this perverted is wrong views. So unless these wrong views are discarded, we will never be freed. So in order to discover the wrong views, we need to know the wisdom of emptiness, the remedy. The remedy, the who on this earth, the first taught was that Buddha Shakyamuni. He was the first one who taught this remedy, the wisdom of emptiness. So you taught Immaculate Dharma. Don't just give it very vague, Immaculate Dharma, wonderful Dharma, not like this. Immaculate means very pure. Pure means something which can take you away from the stains. When you're taken away from the stains, you become pure. So what is that pure Dharma? Is the wisdom of emptiness. So you dispel the perverted views, all the wrong views which attract the miseries. You taught the wisdom of emptiness, which is described as the Immaculate Dharma. Who taught this? To you, the Buddha Dharma, I pay homage. So this is the homage said by Arya Nagarjuna. This is from Buddha Karika. Okay. Independent origination. There is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the constant Buddha, the Supreme of all teachers, the one of the public peace, which is great liberations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these seeking pacification, complete peace. Who through the knowledge of past processes have been migrated to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the progression of omniscience, health, subdurers, expanded variety of teachings. The one who is transformed into the rapid guide, motivated by truth and Tibetan sentient beings, the teachers, rather to attend to your illustrations. The one that is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth forever in the Buddha grace to use the Buddha in illustrations. I go for refuge and true enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, while my accumulations of crimes of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and true enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, while my accumulations of crimes of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and true enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, while my accumulations of crimes of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Inspired by Sangye, Joda, Zoge, Jodamna, Tanjo, Bado, Dane, Kyasu, Je, Agwe, Jinso, Gebe, Sonange, Gawa, Benju, Sangye, Duba, Jo, Sangye, Joda, Zoge, Jodamna, Tanjo, Bado, Dane, Kyasu, Je, Agwe, Jinso, Gebe, Sonange, Gawa, Benju, Sangye, Duba, Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma well as to a very great seer. Profound, peaceful evaluation, free, caring, and non-compulsive. Such is the nectar like our mind discovered, finding no one to find in his teaching, in silence or entirely with words. Beyond our tremendous thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and in the nature of space. It is the ultimate apprehension of the seven-realized wisdom, to the mother of Buddhas of the three times of human existence. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome, and go for refuge to the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all pains and miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain in good teachings until I make expensive experience in eons. A Buddha does not cause the negativities of beings, nor does he remove the mysteries by his hands. In spiritual realizations have no transfer to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. All directions to shine the light of Dharma for all human mysteries to know. If you are attached to this morning, you are no spiritual perishing. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to yourself, you have no good. If there is grasping, you do not have with you. Page 14. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, one born beyond, before destroyers, completely perfect, full awakening being. Supreme God of human beings to retain, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and full awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, subdued from the Shakti clan, perpetuating make offerings and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you placed ourselves twice, and said, I am supreme in this world. To you, who were wise then, I am frustrated. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, which motion like a golden mountain, in their places in the three worlds, none of the best fall to your frustrated. With supreme science, space like spotless moon, color like gold to your frustrated. Touch be like you, the three worlds of life, incomparable wise one to your frustrated. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of meditative qualities of God's ocean, to you the Prakriti persuade. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from lower realms, the one part, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies our restraints. Those who are liberated and also show the path of liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha persuade. Do not commit any non-malicious actions, perform only perfect malicious actions. So be your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of Buddha. A star, a visual direction, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bottle. Clouds see conditioned things as such. Through this merit, sufficient days attain the rank of all seeing, so through the four faults, and to deliver from the samsara ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. What house is that? Page 29. I prostrate to the Arya Nagarjuna. Thus is that he at one time, the Buddha was dwelling on Master Marshal's mountain right together with a great community of monks and a great community of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was exalting concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasatva Arya Nagarjuna looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and began those qualities also as entering inherent nature. Then to the body of the Buddha, when Shantideva said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasatva Arya Nagarjuna, honestly, any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection wisdom and train. He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasatva Arya Nagarjuna said this to the venerable Shantideva. Shantideva, any son or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection wisdom should look upon like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five negatives also as enduring in nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is also no other than emptiness. In the same way, healing, discrimination, component factors, and consciousness are empty. Shantideva likewise all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unrelated to unseen, seamless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no opposite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no vision form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation of path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in perfection wisdom. The mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who travel in the three times also manifesting complete awakening, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment, and reliance on the perfection wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra of equal learning, the mantra that correlates as far as all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of perfection wisdom is declared. Yata om gati gati para gati para sampati bodhisvama. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. That with the errors in the concentration and commanding the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Nagarjuna, say, God said something, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as we indicated, even with the power of rituals. The Buddha having thus spoken by Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Nagarjuna, thus are entering entirely along with the word of God's humans, absurds and marvelous. And Hari praised us spoken by the Buddha. Okay, imagine that your two parents, all the family members, including children, and all such things are there, and a compassionate teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, exhausts us. Don't remain in your fears of samsara. Come towards ultimate happiness. And you, hearing this melodious voice of Buddha Shakyamuni, you inspire your two parents and all such beings. Look, this is our very compassionate teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, exhorting us. Let us not remain in the fears and the tears of samsara anymore. Let us all go towards happiness, leaving aside, leaving behind samsara together. And hearing this, all dear sentient beings, they are so happily, they have so happily joined you in this journey of essence and mind to discover the ultimate treasure of the Buddha nature, ultimate treasure of the happiness. the three supreme jewels, possessing the power of truth, may in and out greatness be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be lost, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the force of 80,000 skills be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be equal to the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. 48 verses mind training. Okay, otherwise we read three principal parts, which is on page 73. Page 73, the three principal aspects of the path. The three principal aspects of the path, they are renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom continuous. And you realize that if you have these three things within us, if we emphasize on these three things, then then one can do any practice with these three things as the ground. You can do Mahayana practice, you can do exhaustion practice, you can do the union of clarity and emptiness as set forth by the Sakya, the tradition, and any practice that we do. So these three things should be here. Okay. And some people, the moment you emphasize on these three things, some goes, oh, this is this is a total naivety. Everyone, all the enlightened beings, they practice these three things. It has nothing to do with Sakya and Nirvana. And the these things that in most refined form were practiced by the Arya Nagarjuna and all these enlightened beings. And they have no clue of Gilu, Sakya, Vaidyu, Nyingma. This is all just total indication of the naivety. Okay. So with these things, then you can practice Sakya, Vaidyu, Nyingma, everything will be so beneficial and very effective. Okay, let's slowly read this. More important thing is, rather than completing reading, more important thing is the meanings reflected. As the meanings are reflected, some transformation takes place. Okay. I bow down to the Venerable Lamas. As well as I am able, I may explain the essence of all the teachings of the Conqueror, of hard praise for the conquered children, entrance for those who desire liberation. Listen with a clear mind, you fortunate ones who are never attached to the joys of second existence. Try to make good use of leisure and opportunity, and direct your minds to the path that pleases the Buddha. Without your renunciation and enter attraction for the pleasure of second existence are unattainable. The craving for existence also binds beings, thus an almost obsessive renunciation. Reverse attraction to this mind, but reflect on how the leisure and opportunity are difficult to find, and how life is ephemeral and without span. Reverse attraction to future lives by repeatedly thinking of the infallibility of karma and its effects and the miseries of samsara. Contemplating thus when for an instant you do not require the splendor of second existence and remain intent on liberation, their mind renunciation is born and renunciation is not tempered by pure-minded bodhicitta, however, does not bring forth the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, the wise ones generate excellent mode of bodhicitta, swept up in the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by strongholds of karma and so hard to undo, caught in the iron of self-grasping, completely enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, born and reborn in the boundless second existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three miseries, thinking of others in this condition generate a supreme mind of bodhicitta. Although they train in renunciation and the mind of bodhicitta, without wisdom that realizes ultimate reality, you cannot cut the root of second existence. Therefore, strive to understand the divine arising. One sees the infallible cause and effect of all phenomena in samsara and nirvana, and destroys all focuses of apprehension, has entered the path which pleases the Buddha. Appearances are infallible dependent arising. Emptiness is understanding that is free of assertions. As long as these two are seen as distinct, you have not realized the intent of the Buddha. When these two realizations are concurrent, where the mere sight of infallible dependent origination concurrently destroys almost grasping to a definite discernment, At that time, the analysis of the profound view is perfected. Furthermore, appearances refute the extreme of existence, and emptiness refutes the extreme of non-existence. When you understand that emptiness arises in the form of cause and effect, you are not captivated by the view of extremes. O my child, once you have thus realized the points of the three principal paths, seek solitude and cultivate strong determination, and quickly reach the final aspired goal. Okay. Onto offering. Page 37. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with marble, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha-filled offering. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure message. With my clear recognition of this, please test the practice of Bodhisattva power with great energy. Once I specify distractions to the wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please test the regenerate quickly within my mind stream, the unified part of ground abiding special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please test the enter the holy gateway of the pure forms of Samayam, as I become firmly convinced of this, place this and as eternal life. Then came to realize the importance of the two stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions. Please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like advocated gurus who showed the noble path, and their spiritual friends who practice in their long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner ignorances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, and I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. You are our Bodhisattva, great treasure and compassion brought into existence, and Manushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception. Sahaba, crowned jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Lord Santamba, at your feet I make request. First, they bring meditation. Okay, 5 minutes. Are you ready? Next, renunciation. I reinforce the visualization of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of you. Bodhisattva, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings. And how you visualize them. They're like your very affectionate parents, and you come home demoralized, and they are there waiting. Your parents are waiting there to give you full love, affection, and so forth. And visualize your two parents from the two sides, and all family members, including children, and all sentient beings, the human beings, the animals, the insects, the spirits, helpings, harmless beings, gods and goddesses, all beings around you. And what we're doing here is the renunciation, the initial step to put yourself back from engaging negativities and seeking the total freedom from all miseries. Okay, so that will do on the basis of 4 seals, practice of 4 seals. All composite things impermanent. The springtime, the very beautiful, the flowers blossoming, morning, beautiful sunshine, and very cool and pleasant day. And the evening, the beautiful sunset. They're bound to come to an end. We have many friends in our life. Your great-great-grandparents, your great-grandparents, your grandparents, and most of them, we even don't know the names. We even don't know the existence. They're all gone. And many friends in this very life, in your own lifetime, your friends or same age, younger, older, many of them are gone. And it keeps happening that, oh, this person died, that person died, and so forth. And it's a fact. No matter what, 200 years ago, 6 billion human beings were there. Today, not even a single person of those from those 6 billion are alive today. It's as though like the whole new system has given being. Like 200 back and 200 in the future, 200 years in the future. Not even a single person today, 7 billion human beings will be survived. That is 400% sure. And keep in mind the incredible big frame of the frame of reference of the space, the frame of the mind, and the frame of the space, and the frame of time. Years ago, 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, and 8 million years ago, the Homo sapiens started. Then 15 billion years ago, when the universe, the Big Bang started. And then 15 billion years in the future from now, bringing into consideration this time of time, what we're experiencing is just so fleeting moment of time, so fleeting, just some instant, a split of a second. And this is how long we are on this earth now. We are a guest, we are a very temporary guest on the earth. A guest should not be thinking of settling in the same place. We should think of going to the next journey. Enjoy this time, but don't get stuck here. We have to plan for the future. This is what a guest should be doing. This is the definition of guests. So with this mind, we should think of future journey rather than what's happening now, focusing everything on now. And this impermanence, the fact that all encompassing things are changing, this impermanence which are so visible to us, this underscores transitoriness, momentariness, the change that you see in 10 years' time. If you're 40 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, the obvious change that you see in your body, in yourself, over the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. This change was because the change happened on the yearly basis, because of the monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, minute-wise. Change that you see on the minute level, on the wall clock, is not visible. On the second level, yes. But the change that is happening on the minute level, for that change to happen, the change on the second level must be happening. And the change that we see in the second level is quite visible. Tick, 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 tick. Okay, this change that we see in the second level, for that to undergo this change, there must be the change happening on the millisecond level. We can keep going like this, and the moment you reach the millisecond, it's so fast. This is how our body is moving. This is how our mind is moving. This is how your friends are moving. This is how the place in which you live is moving. Bangalore is moving like this. Every all-encompassing moves so fast. It's quite scary. It's as though like somebody grabbed you and thrown you in a very fast-moving train. Which is faster the train moves, more the fear. Where is this train taking me? That is determined by the train driver. Train driver? If the train driver is your mother, for sure she will take you to the big spot. Whereas if the train driver is either the kidnappers, the terrorists, or the mother under the sway of the kidnappers and the terrorists, there's no way other than you'll be taken to the killing spot. It's very scary. In our case, a very fast-moving train like the body, very fast-moving train in the body, the train driver is a mind, and unfortunately this mind, like the train driver, is under the sway of the two demons, self-grasping and self-centered attitude. The worst of the contaminations, as long as you are under the sway of the worst of the contaminations, and the only result that we're going to that is going to take us to are miseries. Like miseries like what? Sickness, aging, death, losing the dear ones, tension, stress, depression, anxiety, lamentation, and so forth. It's so acutely painful, these pains. One moment of such a tragedy is good enough to let you get the impression the whole world is so gloomy, the whole life is so gloomy, how deceived I was all alone with all these happinesses. It's like they kept me being unaware of what is happening now. This is known as all contaminated things are suffering. It's so acute. That's true. So when will this come to an end? 2016, 2017. So at a certain point, we experienced this for like 365 days, but it's gone now. It came to an end. When will this suffering come to an end? The acute, excruciatingly painful suffering. When will they come to an end? Don't expect that it will come to an end on its own. It will never come to an end on its own. Impermanent things are three kinds, which come to an end on its own, which never comes to an end on its own. For example, your mind, the particles, time, and so forth. And which ultimately comes to an end, like 2016, 2017, and so forth. And third category, if you put effort, it will come to an end. If you don't put effort, it will never come to an end on its own. Your sufferings. Oh, I see. Yeah, if I put effort, what kind of effort should I put? For that matter, we have to know how these sufferings arise. So, dharma hetu prabhava, hetu leshan pratagato. So these sufferings arise from the causes. Until to identify the causes, you cannot possibly think of applying the remedies. And the causes, finally, you come to know that the suffering comes into being by the contaminant karmas, which in turn arise from the afflictions, which in turn arise from the self-grasping ignorance. Okay. If you don't do away with the root, no matter how much you may pluck the poisonous leaves from the top, you pluck 50 leaves, and the next day another 20 leaves will grow. So therefore the wise people will cut the root. Likewise, if you cut the root, however millions of poisonous trees, poisonous leaves they are growing on the tree, they will all dry on their own, they will all dry automatically. Likewise, if you cut the root of the miseries, which is the self-grasping ignorance, all these offshoots in the form of afflictions, contaminant karmas, and afflictions in the form of attachment, aversion, ignorance, and contaminant karmas such as the 10 non-vicious actions, they'll all dry on their own, thus the miseries come to an end. Wow, it's amazing. What? Now how can I cut the self-grasping ignorance? Ignorance, by the very definition, is a distorted mind which blinds you from the vision of the reality. Okay, so how to get rid of this? Because ignorance blinds you from seeing the reality. This ignorance can be eradicated by introducing a light which unfolds the reality. What's the apprehension of the object tallies with the reality? What's the reality? This is what the Buddha indicated in the third seal. Everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay. Today we'll meditate on the emptiness of the flower. Say the flower which attracts us, which makes us to plunge into attachment. Okay. Imagine a very beautiful flower, lotus or a rose flower, very beautiful rose flower, freshly blossomed rose flower. Anytime you go around and you see beautiful flowers, don't forget to remember the sutra, the Buddha Shakyamuni taught this in the sutra. Okay, sutra, where the Buddha said, Upari requested sutra, the various delightful flowers blossom and the sparkling supreme golden apple stands so alluring. For none of these is there a creator, they are a positive part of thought. It is through conceptualization that the world is impurity. It is through the part of thought that the world is impurity. This is what the Buddha said. Remember this sutra all the time. Whenever you see beautiful flowers, beautiful houses, and anything which is beautiful, just remember this stanza, that these are all coming from your own mind, these are all coming by the power of your own thought. And it is through the thought process, it's through the conceptualization of the thought, the whole world came into being, or they are created. Okay. So even this flower is also the mentally imputed, conceptually imputed by the thought. How can I know this? Okay, look at this flower. How does it appear to you? As like a solid idea, or it's like the dream coming from your mind, or like a movie being projected by the movie projector from a distant place. And of course, it's not like the projection by the movie projector. It's not like the dream content projected by the dream mind. It's so solidly there, objectified, and solidified there from the object side, nothing to the mind. This is self-grasping ignorance. This is what attracts all the miseries. How can I know that this is not true? This is self-grasping ignorance. This perception is totally wrong. How can I know this? Yes. If this flower were to exist objectively, remember what Arya Nagarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? In a like manner, in the same token of the reasoning, if this flower were to exist objectively, Why not I see this flower as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object. And the best way by which to go closer to this object, the way we did to the person, the thin skin, and the fatty tissues, cartilages, muscles, and so forth. For the flower, the best thing would be to use the very powerful electron microscope. And nowadays, this is the benefit of the technology. Okay. And it is also done by NASA, and the recording of that is available. We can watch this on our own laptop, whatever. Okay. Now imagine that you subject this flower under the electron microscope. Keep fine-tuning the electron microscope. First you see the natural flower. Keep fine-tuning the electron microscope. You start seeing, initially, very natural flower, and there's incredible tenderness, freshly blossomed tenderness, the combination of the colors, the shapes, and the textures are just splendid and so tender and so perfect combination of the colors. Okay. Fine-tune the electron microscope. Slowly the tenderness disappears. We see this very hairy. What we earlier saw as tenderness, this was total illusion. Okay. But when you see this illusion, what is the emotional reaction? When you see this tender, perfect color combination, what was the emotional reaction? Of course, it's so appealing. Don't forget this. How the flower appears to you is so tender, objectively real. Your emotional reaction is so appealing. Okay. Now, through fine-tuning the electron microscope, what you see is that we start seeing the flower so hairy. Through further fine-tuning, we start to see the breaks between the cells, the partitions between the cells. Through further fine-tuning, we start seeing the cells so discretely with the nucleus at the center. Through further fine-tuning, within the nucleus you will see the microsome, the chromosomes. And through further, okay, chromosomes stay here. What do you see now? Chromosomes. What is that like? It's like a snake, striped, brownish color. Okay. What is the emotional reaction? It's so scary, it's so repulsive. There's a repulsion happening. Don't forget, it was the same object which earlier gave the impression that it gives you such an appealing feeling. Now the same object gives you repulsion. Okay. Now further, the fine-tune the electron microscope further. Okay. You see that this chromosome is made of DNA molecules. And these molecules are made of atoms. Millions of atoms. Okay, stay there for a while. Stay there. What are you seeing now? I'm seeing millions of atoms. Where is the chromosome? The chromosome disappears. Okay, chromosome disappears. What is the emotional reaction? What is the emotional reaction? The neutral feeling. Okay, the same object at one point gives you such a pleasant feeling. Next, it gives you such a feeling of repulsion. Now it is the neutral feeling. Okay. Now, what are you seeing? I'm seeing millions of atoms. Where's that original flower? It's totally empty there. Totally empty there. This is the meditation on the emptiness of flower. What are you seeing? I'm seeing millions of atoms. Where's that chromosome, which is so scary to look at? The chromosome disappears. You're getting the emptiness of the chromosome. You are seeing the emptiness of the chromosome now. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. Wonderful. Wow. The fear dissolves, and the attraction dissolves, and the fear dissolves. It's amazing. But what's the benefit of this meditation? And of course, what we dislike is all the miseries. Just bring all those things which you dislike, the miseries, the pain, the sickness, aging, death, lamentation, grief, tension, stress, depression, all these things you bring in front of you as an object of investigation. Subject these to the ultimate analysis. What happens? Or instantly, just as the flood disappears, just the problem disappears, instantly all these pains disappear. Your mind is instantly uplifted, you'll feel a tinge of bliss, incredible feeling of tranquility, this amazing experience. Wow. This is where your only mental anxiety, stress, tension, sorrow, mental disturbance, all dissolve. Mental tension, disturbance, agitation, sorrow, dissolve. What is that experience like? This is absolute peace. This is what the Buddha indicated as the fourth seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. This is what everyone is seeking, whether you're a believer or non-believer. If somebody gets this feel, whether you're a believer or non-believer, whether you're Buddhist or non-Buddhist, everyone seeks to achieve this. Desire to achieve this feeling, desire to achieve this freedom, this state, in experience of emptiness, is known as the renunciation. This is our final understanding of renunciation. Beyond what ordinary people understand, what the ordinary Dharma discourses explain, renunciation is, to renounce your this life, renounce your next life, and so forth. This is now what we have understood. This is a final version of understanding nirvana. The nirvana and renunciation, seeking this nirvana, seeking this absolute peace. That is the renunciation, to renounce the ultimate miseries and seeking to achieve total liberation in experience of emptiness, so that you'll be aware that you can renounce the miseries. This is the meaning of the renunciation. Okay, stay in this experience for a while. Okay, slowly come out of this practice. You'll slowly move to the Bodhisattva practice. Okay, a few seconds. Take rest. Okay, ready? Bodhisattva practice. For that matter, what we do is, of course, again the same thing. We will do the Bodhisattva practice on the basis of 4 immeasurables. And keep in mind that this practice 4 immeasurable is common between the Theravada practice and the Mahayana practice. It's common. The 4 seals, no, 4 immeasurables. 4 seals is also common. 4 immeasurables also common. Okay. Now what is so distinctive is after the 4 immeasurables, then we go to the Bodhisattva commitment. That becomes unique with the Bodhisattva practice or the Mahayana practice. And at home, you can do the 4 immeasurables, then you can do the 2 methods. Okay, I will say 2 methods. Say 1 today, the next day you alter the 2 methods. Okay. Whereas if you are very committed and if you think that you have enough stamina, and then you can do both methods a day in a single day. Okay. And reinforce the visualization of all the Bodhisattvas, Bodhisattvas, Holiness, Dalai Lama, all the enlightened beings here, in the space in front of you. And how you visualize that, this is so important. They're like your very fashioned parents, and when you come home to demoralize, your parents are there waiting to give full love, affection, attention, and praise. This is so important. No matter what state what state you are in, what plight you are in, very difficult plight, no matter what bad things that you do, but the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they're always there to embrace you, like a mother feeling particularly affectionate, loving, compassionate towards a child who is less competent than the others. This is exactly how the Buddhist Bodhisattvas are working towards you. Bodhisattva field reinforces visualization of two paradigms and two sides. And all the family members, including children, and all the other sentient beings in this universe, leaving them aside. And the purpose of this practice is to activate the incredibly appealing mind of the Bodhisattva, the most appealing mind in this universe, the Bodhisattva. Okay, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The causes of happiness probably consisting of the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love for the Bodhisattva. May all my dear sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. I'll take responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you with such a courageous commitment, like a mother after all these many years of hardships that she went through in raising her children, today her eldest daughter, eldest son, comes to the mother, telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. I'm already grown up. I'll take care of all my siblings. You have done everything for us till now. Now we'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Don't worry, please." Mother could not believe her eyes, could not believe her ears. With tears rolling down her cheeks. This is exactly what is happening to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Seeing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are so intensely proud of you. This pride and happiness the Buddhist Bodhisattvas experience invoke the compassion minds of the omniscience of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to suffer nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all the sentient beings. A mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies reaching yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness within the minds of sentient beings in yourself. And you're witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all the different sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are free from suffering and the cause of suffering. Now, Buddhist Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment that they are intensely happy and proud of you. This part of happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to some of nectars and very swiftly lights towards you and all different sentient beings. May touch the lights and nectars with the bodies and beings of yours, washes of all the miseries and the cause of the miseries from the lives of the sentient beings yourself. And you're witnessing such a miraculous happening to all different sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, emotional joy. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the cause of happiness that they are endowed with. May all my dear sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they are endowed with. I will take responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they are endowed with. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas witnessing that you have such a courageous commitment and intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to some nectars for sweet lives to pursue all different sentient beings. A mere touch to realize the nectars of the bodies of beings in yours stabilizes the happiness and the cause of happiness that their beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all the different sentient beings, you're intensely happy, take 3 deep breaths, silent relief. Imagine equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and abiding in a state of incredible love and affection towards all sentient beings, leaving none aside. May all my dear sentient beings always be separated from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. Instead, abide in a great state of equanimity, embracing all the dear sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. I will take responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment and intensely happy and proud of you, this pride and happiness invokes the compassion of omniscient minds to send for nectars of truthful lives towards you and all human sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the boss beings in yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion towards others, and making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other sentient beings equally, leaving them aside. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening with all the human sentient beings, you're intensely happy, take 3 deep breaths, silent relief. Underscoring all the four immeasurables is incredible, incredible, incredible unconditional love towards all human sentient beings. Abide in this experience of the unconditional love. Imagining that you are piercing through the eyes of all human sentient beings with incredible love, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves so special in the eyes. Okay, that is, make a Bodhisattva commitment 3 times together. May, with 40 times, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Nalanda sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Nalanda sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Nalanda sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Nalanda sentient beings. Abide in this beautiful mind bodhicitta. This is the most beautiful mind that can possibly exist in this entire universe. Abide in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this beautiful mind bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, 1 inch or 2 inch in diameter, horizontally sitting with the heart. It's amazing that you made such courageous commitment to do Buddha. It's amazing. But since time immemorial till now, you have not achieved Buddhahood. And how do you know that you can now achieve Buddhahood? Squeezing a handful of sand doesn't give rise to. However much you put effort to squeeze a handful of sand, no oil will come out of that. How do you know that Buddhahood will come out of you if you put effort? Of course, I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm more like a handful of the sunflower seeds, because of which will all come out of that. But if this is the case that if a Buddha nature within you, putting effort, this Buddha nature will become manifest and you become Buddha, fine. But since time immemorial till now, you never became Buddha. Now how can you say that this Buddha nature is coming out now? Yes. Since time immemorial till now, I was totally deceived. I was under the spell of the two demons, self-grasping and self-centered. I thought that these two are my friends, best of friends. Now, I've been wisely kind towards myself. I discovered that these two are not my friends. These two are the worst of the demons. I'll exterminate these two no matter what. Amazing. How can I exterminate the two demons? Yes. Both the demons somehow that either the manifest self-grasping ignorance or in the form of the remnants, in the form of the outcomes of the subtle stains of the self-grasping ignorance. How will you get rid of these stains of the self-grasping ignorance? Is by introducing a counter force. What is counter force? The wisdom to see the ultimate reality. Wisdom to see the ultimate reality, the emptiness of objective existence. Okay. Now it's clearly meditated on this by retrieving the experience of emptiness of the flower. What you are seeing now of the flower, billions and billions of atoms. You are seeing the isolate of the millions of atoms there. Where's the flower? The flower disappears, the flower is empty. Stay in this experience. You found the emptiness of the flower. Stay in this experience. You're not saying that the flower doesn't exist, you're saying that the flower doesn't exist objectively. How do you say this? By going too close to the object, the flower disappears, the flower is empty. Stay in this experience for a while. This mind, seeing the emptiness, if you extrapolate this to all other phenomena, including your miseries, they'll all disappear, they're all empty. Stay in this experience for a while. Emptiness of the objective existence of the flower. Slowly transform this fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean one vasha, thumb size white vasha, vertically sitting on the moon to figure heart. It's amazing. Now you have the moon symbolizing the compassion bodhicitta, which is the fun realm to open the self-centered attitude. And you have the vasha symbolizing the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the fun realm to open the self-grasping ignorance. With these two things there, it is guaranteed that your mind will be cleansed of all the mental defilements, and the Buddha nature becoming manifest, like the diamond when it cleanses dirt from outside, the incredibly beautiful, clean diamond from inside, which inside becomes manifest and unraveled. This is what will happen. Amazing. But don't forget that your two parents are there, all the family members including children are there, all the demons and children are there, they are suffering. Yes, of course. Why not? Why don't you share this self-watching mode with them as well? Of course, why not? With incredible love and affection towards all the demons and human beings, this incredible love and affection invoke the Vajra moon every heart multiply infinite number of times. She once served Vajra moon at the heart of mother. One one said at the heart of your father. One said with each one of family members, including children. One said with each of the sentient beings in Bangalore, including insects, animals, spirits, human beings, devas and devis. On each one in the entire world, with each one in the entire universe. Amazing, wonderful. This is such a meaningful thing that you're doing. This is what is extracting the greatest meaning out of life. You're giving such a meaning to your amazing. And meanwhile, believe it or not, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are watching us, although we don't have this karma yet to see them directly, but they are watching us, they are with us, they are watching us. Amazing. Why do we invite all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to be the guests and to be the witness to our undertaking the Aspen Bodhisattva ceremony? And of course, as a gesture of inviting them to be a witness and a guest to our undertaking the Aspen Bodhisattva ceremony, let us imagine that along with all the other sentient beings, we will slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to make this request. Sit on the right knees. Those who have no knee problems, those who have knee problems, you can sit in the position which is most comfortable to you. Okay, let us turn to page 46. Okay. Reinforce the visualization of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We have already invited them to be guests, and now they are like your parents. Parents to the very young child, age 5 or 6, to a very young daughter, young son, age 5 or 6, making the first performance, public performance, and the parents they come there with, they left all the job, they come there to give such a moral support to you, moral boost to you, amongst the audience and waving their hands to you. So this is what all the Bodhisattvas they are doing now. They are so happy today. And they imagine your 2 parents, your family members, including children, all sentient beings around you, and you are the one who inspired all of them to join you in this undertaking that the Aspen Bodhisattva found. So, and you are leading this. With that in mind, let's say the last stanza of page 46. Wholeheartedly I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the ways I hold the precious within my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the ways I hold the precious within my heart. I go for refuge in the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the ways I hold the precious within my heart. Okay, now the next 2 stanzas are the main ceremony. So there, again, this is the last day. I'm going to share with you again a reminder that what made the enlightened beings, the Buddhas today, how come that these beings they become Buddha today? It's all because of 2 things. So many the lifetimes before, they were as ordinary as what we are today. But today, they are not ordinary. They are the full awakened beings, the Buddha nations have become like the fully blossomed, full-fledged, the Buddhahood, omniscient state. How come that they become more like that today now? It's all because of two things. One, that initially they generated a very strong desire to become Buddha for the transcendental beings, known as the Bodhisattva. They generated this Bodhisattva. Number two, to materialize the aspiration of this Bodhisattva, they actually engaged in the Bodhisattva practices, 6 perfections and the 4 perfections. Perfection, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, wisdom, 6 perfections. And 4 perfections, skillfulness, prayers, and power, and the discriminatory wisdom. So they engaged in these 10 perfections, and that made them to actually realize this Buddha nature in the form of full-fledged Buddhahood. Okay, if this is how they succeeded in becoming Buddha for the very sentient beings, I will also follow their footsteps. I will also generate Bodhisattva, the very strong determination to become Buddha for the very sentient beings, Bodhisattva, and to materialize the aspiration of this Bodhisattva, I will also engage in the 10 perfect practice of Bodhisattva deeds, the 10 professions. Okay, during the 3rd repetition of this, you mentioned that we have received the aspiration of Bodhisattva vow, and we just rejoice in what we have done, the aspiration of the vow that we received, and make commitment that henceforth I will always try to be of some service and benefit, render service to the other beings, and at least I'm not going to harm them. Okay, with this in mind, also Hindus are joining you, and you are leading this, and all the Bodhisattvas so affectionately, lovingly, happily watching us. Okay, let us say this 3 times. Wholeheartedly say this. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and I shall successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and I will successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. And generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, rejoice over having received the ultimate Bodhisattva vow. Amazing. This is what is meant by extracting the greatest meaning of life and giving a meaning to your life. And today you did this. This greatest offering that we can think of in this universe. This is the best offering that we can think of, being offering to the Bodhisattvas. And today you did it. And to repay the kindness of all the dear sentient beings, this is the greatest gift, and today you did it. And imagine what the mother, when you see the school principal coming towards the mother, again becoming so nervous, I became becoming so uneasy, again what my daughter might have done, what my son might have done. But this time the school principal is very different. She's coming with a smile and respect, courtesy, and giving the news that your daughter, your son, 2 of them are appointed the best students of the school for this year. You cannot believe your eyes, you cannot believe your ears. The mother couldn't believe that, because till today, the mother had me hear only the bad things about her daughter and the son, and today is very different. In total disbelief, tears rolling on cheeks. This is exactly what has happened to all the Bodhisattvas. They are so proud of you today. Since time immemorial till now, we are bringing only bad news to the Bodhisattvas. We only make them sad. Today, for the first time, with such a sigh of relief, they feel so happy over what you did. And this incredible happiness and joy that they feel, imagine that they invoke the Vajra moon in a full-fledged form in their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. And these, the innumerable, infinite, the replicas of Vajramoon and their hearts descend. In mirage they descend like rain shower to merge with one that visualize their heart. They become non-dual, they become stabilized, and they are blessed by the Vajramoon from all the Bodhisattvas. Likewise, in mirages, the Vajramoon from the house of the all Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that visualize the heart of the mother, become non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, in mirages, like rain shower, they dismerge the one that visualize the heart of your father, and the heart of each of the family members, including children, and the heart of each one of these centuries in Bangalore, in India, in the entire world, in the entire Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. Amazing. Now you have imagined what better thing can you think of doing than what you do today? What a better thing that will make all the Bodhisattvas more happy than what you did today. The Buddha said that to generate one moment of compassion far excels the method that you accumulate by offering the entire universe filled with jewels to all the Bodhisattvas. If that's the case, what I mentioned of you having taken as Bodhisattva vow on the basis of the Bodhicitta and wisdom functions, and today you did it. It's amazing. This is known as giving the greatest meaning to your life, and today you did it. And this all happens because of the kindness of all the Bodhisattvas. Let us, along with all human sentient beings, let us slowly stand up. We make 3 prostrations as a gesture of thanking all the Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take seats. Sit comfortably. Okay, page 47. The second last para. To pray that we are never separated from the true Bodhisattvas, even in the future lifetimes. Okay, this is so important, so important. In our life, we see that there are so many people who are more intelligent than us, who are more gifted than us, but they never meet with the teaching of Bodhicitta. They never meet with the teaching of wisdom and emptiness. Something's going wrong there. Not because that we are more intelligent, right? So therefore, so what makes the difference then? What we can do, what's in our hand, that we have to do. Say, meeting with the teaching of Bodhicitta, meeting with the wisdom of emptiness, we don't practice it, we don't actually study them, we don't take interest and pray that in my future lifetimes maybe I meet with the teaching of the wisdom of emptiness. What's the point? What is in your hand, we are not doing it. Okay, now this should be different. So what is in the hand, we do it. And then the next life, it will add a prayer that we meet. When we actually meet, we will actually do it. So meeting, for that matter, prayers make such a difference. Once you meet it, then whether you do or not, it is a habit. If you build a habit in this life, next life when you meet, because of this habit, you will just plunge into this. Right? So what we are doing now, say in your case, say taking out the time for this, the study group, the text, so which means that you are doing it. And with the prayer, it connects us to to the teaching next life, and because of doing this in this life, we take this habit. This habit will make you do when you meet with the teaching lectures of the Bodhisattva next life. Okay, so we include a very strong prayer for the connection, to build the connection or to meet with the Dharma next life, particularly the Dharma of the wisdom lectures Bodhisattva. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the two precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Okay, now rejoicing. In order to further increase its from now on, those with discernment will listen, see, and awaken mind in this way, should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne through, having well attained this human existence. I have been born in the family of the Buddha, and now I am one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall it disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. Its supreme ambrosia that overcomes sorrow to death is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. Its supreme medicine that cures the world's disease is a tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. Its universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. Is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. Is the quintessence of butter from the journey of middle dharma. For all those guys traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the process of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors and by the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight, may gods and demigods and all be joyful. Okay, now we will read the Shantidevas additional stanzas from chapter 9 to invigorate the compassion, which is on page 43. Page 43. Okay, as we discussed yesterday, finally compassion, simply because when we see somebody in acute pain and then you feel acute compassion, it doesn't mean that this is a very profound compassion. And oftentimes, when we see somebody crying over the pain when the person manifests pain of someone else, we may think that, oh, this person is like Bodhisattva. No, this compassion doesn't mean that the compassion is very profound. So, when do we know that compassion is very profound? It's depending on the severity of the suffering, the subtlety of the suffering. As the suffering becomes more and more subtle, then if one is able to maintain compassion, that is an indication that the compassion is very profound. Now the point is that when will you see the subtlest of the suffering is when you see emptiness. When you see emptiness, then you see that we lost freedom. We lost our freedom to the self-grasping ignorance. This is the greatest of the suffering, subtlest of the suffering. Unless you see emptiness, only have a glimpse of emptiness, we will never see the fault of the self-grasping ignorance. If you don't see the fault of self-grasping ignorance, anybody under the sway of self-grasping ignorance, we will not see anything wrong with that. So we cannot have compassion towards that. So therefore, to really have compassion, we see that self-grasping ignorance, the moment that you lost freedom to the self-grasping ignorance, that self-grasping ignorance actually dictates what you should be doing. Then we see that self-grasping ignorance will give rise to the perverse conditioned suffering, which in turn will give rise to the suffering of change, which in turn will give rise to the manifest acute suffering of sickness, aging, death, somebody stabbing each other, and so forth. So we see that this is how the dream is created. Self-grasping ignorance creates a dream. Okay, self-grasping ignorance creates a dream, the platform, and then on this platform, then self-centered attitudes start to play. The platform was created by self-grasping beings. The dream was created by self-grasping beings. Then self-centered attitude comes there. I want this, I don't want this. Self-centered attitude comes to play. So it is the platform created by self-grasping beings. Self-centered attitude then comes in the overlaps, comes on this, and two of them together will then make you stir into negative emotions, attachment, anger, jealousy, so forth, which in turn will make you to go into contaminant karmas, and thus all the miseries, nightmares of the dream happens. Okay, so if you see emptiness, then you see that compassion, you will see that you will have a compassion on three different levels. Compassion directed towards the manifest suffering of sentient beings, compassion directed towards the suffering change of the sentient beings, and compassion directed towards the pervasive conditioned suffering of the sentient beings. Okay, and then finally, compassion directed towards the sentient beings being under the sway of the cognitive obscurations. Okay, and let us see. And then in the end, the Bodhisattva Shantideva included the prayer that through the power of my merit may I be able to reveal this emptiness to all the sentient beings. Okay. 43, the last the two sentences. Therefore, sentient beings resemble trees. Upon analysis, they are like planted trees. Whether they release or not from soil, ultimately there is no difference. What is there to gain and what is there to lose? With things that are empty of true existence in this way, who is there to pay respect and who is there to abuse? From what are pleasures and pain derived? What is there to be happy or unhappy about? When the search is for the ultimate nature, who is there to crave and what is there to crave for? Upon analysis, this world of living beings is found to have no true existence. Therefore, who can die here? What is there to come and what is being? Who are friends and who are relatives? O you who are investigating reality, please recognize as I've done that all is just like space. Those who wish to be happy are greatly disturbed by the cause for conflict and overjoyed by the cause for pleasure. Not finding happiness, they suffer, and in order to find it, they exert themselves. They argue with others, cut and set one another. With many wrong deeds, they have lived in a state of great hardships. Even though they repeatedly come to happy existences and experience much pleasure there, upon dying therefore for a long time, it is the unbearable suffering of the lower realms. Within conditioned existence, the chasms of suffering are many, and the liberating comprehension of ultimate truth is absent. Furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and unseparable emptiness mutually contradict one another. Yet if while in conditioned existence I do not realize this ultimate truth, I shall continue to experience a limitless ocean of misery, unbearable and beyond analogy. Likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have little strength for virtue, and my human life of leisure or endowment is indeed very short. Also, I strive hard to live long and avoid illness. I am concerned with hunger and restless sleep. I am injured by others and keep meaningless company with charges. Therefore, this life swiftly passes with no meaning. How to find the chance to investigate reality? In this state, where is there the means to reverse this beginning this habit of grasping into existence? Furthermore, devils are exerting themselves to cast us into vast unfortunate realms. There are many mistaken paths, and it is hard to resolve doubts about the perfect way. It will be hard to find the leisurely human life again, and extremely difficult to find the presence of the Buddhas. It is hard to forsake this flood of afflictions. Alas, sentient beings will continue to suffer. Or indeed, it is worth feeling sorrow for those adrift in the river of pain, who although they experience great misery, are unaware of the suffering they go through. For example, some ascetics wash themselves again and again, and others repeatedly enter fire, but although they thereby suffer greatly, they pretend themselves as being unhappy. Similarly, those who mistake their suffering for joy and live as though they were no agent of death are first of all killed by the law of death, and then experience the unbearable misery of falling into lower realms. When shall I be able to extinguish the pains of those tormented by the fires of suffering, with the rain of my accumulated happiness that is sprung from the clouds of my merit, and by having the manner of objectifying true existence, Intensely will I gather the accumulation of merit. When will I be able to reveal emptiness to those who are wretched by the view of true existence? Okay, the next page, 49, dedication prayer. I dedicate the merits thus gathered, truest realization, the deeds and the prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the holding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I know all life through the force of this merit, never separated from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect and the 2 stages. For my 2 collections, vast space that I have amassed, by working with effort and this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds despise blind by ignorance.